watching WBRC Fox 6 News. Good Day, Alabama.
This morning, the group of officials who showed up to this apartment complex after numerous complaints on the living conditions there.
We now know the details on the funeral arrangements for the beloved Pinson Valley High School student athlete who died last week, when and where you can pay respects and show support for the family of Caleb White.
And a major road in Jefferson County reopening today after more than a year of construction. Why one Irondale City Councilor says for some of you, the addition may make the morning commute a little smoother.
And I'm Lyndon Blake at the First Alert Desk. We are still staying on top of breaking news this morning. As news develops, we'll bring it to you here first.
Welcome in, everybody. Glad you're with us online. I'm Janice Rogers.
And I'm Mike Derblate. Boy, enjoy these next couple of days. It feels like fall out there, Mick Ferguson.
I sat outside last night and it was so nice.
Yes, it really is. And I held off cutting the grass yesterday. I think I'm going to do it today.
Okay.
Yeah.
With lower humidity.
Doesn't it feel good, though?
It
Should
sure
Lyndon
enough
report that
does.
from the First Alert Desk, though, that you're going to
Yeah.
mow the lawn? No, sorry.
You settle down. It's weather time.
You settled down.
Weather time, newsboy. We have we have clear skies to get you started here. Our temperature readings are in the 60s, low 60s in Summerton and Jasper, mid 60s for Chelsea. Birmingham at 67, so we have dropped below average, normal low 72, so that is a cool change for you. Look at Ashland there at Clay County at 63, Tuscaloosa 67 degrees, and we're in the low 60s in several places in the northwest Alabama. It's a big change from 24 hours ago. You can see Gadsden's 14 degrees cooler than it was this time yesterday morning. 12 degrees cooler in Tuscaloosa, 11 degrees cooler in Talladega, just to name a few. AccuTrack radar is showing not much going on, but if you're headed down to the Gulf of Mexico, could run into some showers. When you get to the Florida Panhandle, there's a stalled frontal boundary down there. But not here. Look at these temperature readings as we get into this afternoon. It slowly warms up into the low 80s. We're usually there by 8 a.m., but it looks like it's going to be noontime today before a lot of us make it into the 80s. Now, some of our southern tier of counties could be a little bit warmer, but average temperatures range from the 80s to the low 90s going into this afternoon. So a pretty nice day with a lot of sunshine out there as well. Look at our low temperatures over the next 7 days. We go down to 64 degrees tomorrow morning. The average low is 72. We do see those temperatures start to climb up a little bit, getting pretty close to average by Saturday morning. Then we start to go above average with those morning lows by early next week. Here's a look at first day of classes for Jacksonville State University. This is tomorrow at 8 a.m. We have 68 degrees there with lots of sunshine. At lunchtime tomorrow, a little warmer than today at 83. And highs tomorrow at about 4 p.m. at about 89 degrees. Let's take a look at the next big thing. It's going to be the dew points climbing as well. So dry air for a couple of days. But we get into the weekend, it starts to warm up and it starts to get a little bit more sticky as well. Tracking the tropics, we got this little disturbed weather that's headed into the Gulf of Mexico, we think, over the next 7 days. Not much of a chance for really getting organized or developing into something solid, but we could see those scattered showers remain in the Gulf for several days to come. And this disturbance here that we were looking at yesterday has now a 40% chance of forming into something within the next 7 days. And this is something just coming off the coast of Africa that we'll keep an eye on for the next 7 days as well. So drier air in place today and tomorrow. We start to see those dew points climb. As we get into the weekend, we're looking at highs in the mid 90s. Feels like temperatures will probably be between 100 and 105 degrees somewhere in there this weekend. So it does warm up, but may stay just below heat advisory criteria. But next week, going into our next work week, we see more hot stuff, mid 90 degree heat. And keep in mind those dew points continuing to rise. So going to be pretty toasty next week. All right, here's Toy. Looks like you're live in Tuscaloosa there, Toy.
Yeah, we are, Mickey. This is, of course, 2059, McFarland Boulevard at 2059. You see the bridge there, riding over there. That's 2059, and traffic is moving nicely there over McFarland Boulevard. We're in great shape. What was that? Okay. Oh, on the wall. We're in great shape as we look across the area. Sorry, y'all. We're in great shape as we look at things across the area. Green and clean, no issues or concerns out there. Now, there are a couple of areas of road work that may be popping up throughout the area. We're good to go if you are traveling there. I want to give you very quickly an update on your average Alabama gas price. There's a lot going on in here right now, by the way. Regular has gone up. First of all tiers have gone up. Regular up 1 cent at $3.44 from yesterday. Premium up 3 cents from yesterday at $4.21. And diesel up 1 cent from yesterday at $4.06. All right, Janice.
Toy, thank you. We now know the funeral arrangements for Pinson Valley High School senior and basketball player Caleb White. The 17-year-old died last week after a medical emergency in the school gym. A public viewing for White will take place tomorrow from noon until 6 at Davenport and Harris Funeral Home. Another viewing will take place Friday morning from 9:45 to 10:45, followed by the funeral at 11 a.m. at Cathedral of the Cross on Centerpoint Parkway. And this morning we know more about the man whose body was found on the side of a road near 50th Street near Park Avenue. The coroner identifying the victim as Tommy Brown says he'd been shot. A passerby found his body on Sunday. Police have not announced, though, any arrest in this case. In Tuscaloosa, Saturday will mark 20 years since the disappearance of a little girl named Heaven Lachey Ross.
The 11-year-old girl walked to her school bus stop in Tuscaloosa but never made it to school. Her body was found 3 years later under a vacant home 3 miles away in Holt. Investigators have never arrested anyone for her death. Her family is holding a balloon release this Saturday as they hold out hope for a break in the cold case.
Never. We never give up hope. Never. Never give up praying. Never give up hope. One day it's going to happen. I just hope that God chooses to let me still be here when it happens.
That balloon release is this Saturday at 7 p.m. at Snow Hinton Park in Tuscaloosa.
Boy, that is a story we'll never forget for sure. All right, now to this story here, though, in East Alabama, a guilty verdict for a man charged in the 2019 murder of an Auburn police officer. A jury found Grady Wilkes guilty of capital murder in the May 2019 shooting death of Officer William Beckner. Police say that Beckner was responding to a domestic violence call when Wilkes, dressed in tactical gear, opened fire. There is a sentencing hearing today. Wilkes could get life without parole or the death penalty.
Covering Tuscaloosa, where a group of police officers, fire personnel, and city code enforcers showed up at this apartment complex. Now, Captain Phil Simpson says the complaints at the Lofts Apartments on McFarland Boulevard have been building for months. They range from piles of trash not getting picked up to potential health issues inside the complex. There are also reports of rodents.
So we're all here together. We can all see what's going on. We can all speak with one voice, because in the end what we would like to do is for the apartment complex to be successful. There's been some management changes, and so that's what we're trying to do, is work with the new manager so that possibly we can mitigate some of these concerns.
Police tell us they didn't write any citations because they noticed progress in some problem areas.
Well, an update now on the damage to the Coleman County Library from severe storms last week. The library is still closed after strong winds blew out some of its windows. Officials telling us that they're still assessing the damage, and an exact timeline for repairs, though, has not been specified.
Now, if you drive in this part of Birmingham, you're probably familiar with this. Every time it rains, flooding at the railroad underpass on Mesa Airport Highway. Now the city says it's doing something about it. A consultant is performing a study to see why this area floods so much and how much it will cost to fix it. Once the study is complete, the city says it will make a plan to address the issue. And great news for drivers in East Jefferson County. The Grants Mill Road roundabout opens today. For more than a year, crews have been adding lanes to Grants Mill Road from I-459 to Old Leeds Road. The construction has been causing some traffic headaches for some of you who use I-459 to get to work or school. We know that, but one Irondale City Council member tells us the new intersection will help with all the economic development. He says some neighbors have expressed concerns about the added traffic that the city's growth could cause, but city leaders believe the new road eases some of those concerns.
One thing I think citizens have been concerned about with the development is, every time there's something new announced, people are worried about traffic. Even new subdivisions, that were announced several years ago. The biggest thing I ever heard was, well, they'll cause more traffic on Leeds or more traffic wherever it was. And since then, I've not heard anything about traffic.
Starting today, only 2 of the 4 lanes will open, but Sims says by the end of September, all 4 lanes should be open.
City of Birmingham taking the next steps to upgrade Rickwood Field as it gets set to host a Major League Baseball game next June. The Birmingham City Council approving $150,000 in annual funding to the Friends of Rickwood Field over the next 3 years. That's the nonprofit that oversees maintenance of the facility. City leaders say this will also help with potentially hosting more major events at the ballpark in addition to the MLB game. Well, summer break is ending for some college students in West Alabama.
Kelvin Reynolds recently visited the university in Livingston, where they're getting ready for a new semester. He joins us now live from Tuscaloosa with what he learned from University of West Alabama leaders. Kelvin, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mike and Janice. We got a chance to visit the University of West Alabama campus in Livingston. It's a big day there for them because this is their first day of fall classes. We were able to stop by the campus just as a meeting with faculty and staff was wrapping up there. Those people attending got a chance to also hear President Ken Tucker deliver a message offering encouraging words to those folks about what's ahead for them for this new school year. He calls the new school year very exciting, adding that it brings a new energy to campus. He also talked about more scholarships that the school is offering to qualified students both in West Alabama as well as East Mississippi counties. Now, he says that, along with the fact that tuition has been frozen and remained the same for the past 6 years, is one of the reasons that enrollment at UWA is trending to an all-time high of 6,000 students.
We're a small regional public university, and we're small enough where our student to faculty ratio is very low. We're like family here. We care about our students. We go out of our way to help our students be successful. That's our #1 goal.
The University of West Alabama is also pretty close to completing a combination track and soccer field on campus. And once that's finished, work will begin on a brand new 500-seat amphitheater that will also allow it to host more classes for students as well as a lot more live entertainment. Kelvin Reynolds, WBRC, Fox 6 News on your side.
Thank you, Kelvin. Well, calling all Swifties, a university in Belgium offering a class where you can study Taylor Swift's lyrics. Ghent University is launching a new literature course this fall dedicated to the literary merit of Taylor Swift songs. The course is called Literature, Taylor's Version, a nod to the artist's re-recorded album titles. The Beatles have been studied, among others, so
yeah.
She certainly has a library to study.
I actually took a class on the Beatles.
I would enjoy
as an elective course.
Yeah, that would be fun. All right, we thank you for being with us on this special digital edition of Good Day Alabama.
We'll be back with you at 6 a.m.